Tonight on our news, assessments on Iguana revealing minimal damage following Hurricane Fiona as the storm moves north. What officials are saying about the recovery as the Turks and Caicos Island starts its own rebuilding effort. Plus, investigators are searching for the culprit of a fatal stabbing that happened in broad daylight. Also, renewed discussions about how tour operators manage shark safety practices following a fatal attack on a tourist. And later, Shakespeare in Paradise is back after a nearly 3-year hiatus. Find out the next showtime straight ahead. Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Topping news tonight, senior government officials in a delegation led by the acting prime minister are back in the capital tonight following an assessment on Iguana after the passage of Hurricane Fiona. We'll get to that damage on that island in a moment, but first, a nearly 3-year-long mask mandate brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic will be finally lifted on October 1st. The office of the Prime Minister confirming the news via social media late this afternoon. In a post on several platforms, the Prime Minister's office said, "Today we are announcing the removal of the mask mandate in the Bahamas on October 1st. However, masks will continue to be required in schools, healthcare facilities, and in senior care homes for the time being." The post saying some Bahamians will also choose to continue wearing a mask in crowded settings and that everyone's choices deserves our respect. The post also noting the adjustments to the mask mandate were recommended by the Advisory Committee of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, while encouraging people with COVID-19 symptoms to still seek testing, as free testing and vaccinations will continue. And with COVID protocols relaxing across the world, Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper says he supports the further relaxation of restrictions here.
The protocols around the world have been relaxed. Many of our competitors and large companies around the world, countries around the world, have completely eliminated protocols. I expect that we're going to get there. I support the further relaxation of these protocols. There's been a lot of calls for the elimination of masks, and suffice to say, the tourism industry is ready to see the back of the protocols. They're ready to move on, and certainly that is the sentiment that we are expressing to our colleagues from the Ministry of Health.
The 21 evacuees who were taken from Iguana to Exuma are back home tonight as power and water have been restored on that island following Hurricane Fiona's passing. The news comes following an assessment on the southern island this afternoon led by Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper. That assessment also revealing the main dock was destroyed.
We came, we saw, we acknowledged the need. The Ministry of Work senior engineer is here. He will take back the report. We will discuss it with the minister responsible, and we will do all that we can to restore it. In these islands, docks and the airports are critical infrastructure, and we will make every effort as quickly as we can to restore the facility.
The Acting Prime Minister says the focus now is on the immediate needs of residents.
We understand that there are issues of immediacy now as it relates to food and water supplies. So we're going to be working along with the mailboat company. If necessary, we are going to cause Bahamas Air to come back to Iguana and bring supplies.
Now tune into our news tomorrow for a full report on today's assessment. And Hurricane Fiona drenched the Turks and Caicos Islands on Tuesday as a Category 3 storm. The storm's eye skirted Grand Turk as residents there remained under curfew while Fiona battered those islands. Tonight, our Sasha Lightborn spoke with a TCI cabinet minister for an update. She has this report.
Minister of Physical Planning and Infrastructural Development in the Turks and Caicos Islands, Akira Misick, says there were no casualties following the passing of Hurricane Fiona yesterday. She says initial assessments are already underway on all of the islands and keys.
We have suffered minimal damages to government infrastructure across the islands. We've received reports from as far as Salt Key. We are still experiencing power outages in the island of Salt Key and Grand Turk, but Providenciales Power has been restored up to 80%.
Misick, whose portfolio includes the Department of Disaster Management and Emergencies, or DDME, says the causeway connecting north to Middle Caicos also received some damage.
And we have our recovery and relief team already on site determining the amount of damage and how best we can make the causeway passable.
The DDME minister also explaining that Providenciales International Airport is open, but others remain closed.
But all of our airports in the other islands are only open for relief and medical emergency flights. So once we can get safely over to the other islands, I will do so.
As for when schools may reopen, Misick says,
and we still have persons who are in shelters before they venture to check their properties. So school opening may be delayed in Grand Turk, Salt Key, and South Caicos to Monday. Provo, we're assessing any damages to our schools and whether persons are leaving those shelters so they can open as early as the end of this week.
Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Thanks, Sasha. And as Hurricane Fiona continues to move north, meteorologist Greg Thompson, who is in the Weather Center with your first look, is still tracking its movements. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this Hump Day Wednesday. Pretty nice outside our studios with just a few clouds, temperatures in the mid-80s, north winds, and they are breezy, 15 miles per hour, and your field-side temperature, a very comfortable 88 degrees. On our satellite, of course, Fiona is still just to the east of the islands. Some rain bands affecting the areas like San Salvador, Long Island, as well as the Cat Island area. Also, Auckland and Crooked Island and the Turks and Caicos, you're still getting a couple of isolated showers with those rain bands. But as Fiona pulls out towards the north and away from us, we should see much more improving conditions. Main effect across the Bahamas chain of islands will be the swells, and they will continue throughout the remainder of the week. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, the fatal stabbing of a man in broad daylight that has investigators on the hunt for the culprit. Also, the tourism minister talks shark safety following an attack on a tourist. Plus, a nearly 3-year hiatus for Shakespeare in Paradise comes to an end. One of the organizers talks showtime. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got wireless dead zones at your house? How about endless buffering? Will you put the Wi-Fi password again? This is Aero. Aero is not just any Wi-Fi router. Rev customers get the first Wi-Fi system that covers every inch of your beautiful home, improving home coverage, higher speeds, high performance, and connectivity for up to 75 simultaneous devices. Aero. So while you're streaming your favorite show on HBO Max, Aero with Rev gives you the freedom to stay connected while you work, learn, and play at home. Never think about Wi-Fi again with Aero from Rev. Visit rev.bs/Aero or call 601-8992 to make your Wi-Fi wishes come true.
The country's latest homicide happening in broad daylight. Officers were called to the scene on Boyd Road where they say they found a man with stab wounds. The killing prompting a local pastor to speak out. Jamila Mizik was on the scene.
It was shortly after 10 a.m. on Wednesday when police were alerted to the murder. Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skipping says officers found a man sitting at the top of a stairwell of a building with stab wounds to his upper body.
At present, we do not know the circumstances surrounding this particular incident, but from what the injuries that we observe, we can say that there was a struggle. At this time, I am unable to say who the struggle with, if it was one individual or two people.
We spoke to Jamal Franklin, the senior pastor of a local Seventh-day Adventist church in the area, who says the church is there to assist with conflict resolution.
This community is in shock. This is a relatively quiet community. Many of our members live in this area, and so the incident today has taken us by surprise. There's counseling provided for you in our churches. Come for counseling. Don't try to resolve an issue with your own strength, with your own power. and we're here for you. We love you, and we want to see the men of our community have outlets.
Skipping says the victim appears to be in his 50s and does not live in the area. She's making this appeal to residents in the community.
If you have seen or if you have heard anything earlier today, earlier in the morning, I want to ask you to reach out to your Royal Bahamas Police Force. Contact the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-9991 or you can remain anonymous and contact Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Any bit of information that you can give us, we will definitely follow those lines of inquiries to see if we're able to bring resolution to this matter in a relatively short period of time.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Missick.
Thanks, Jamila. Now, police have taken a teen boy into custody in connection with the stabbing of a 14-year-old boy on Tuesday afternoon. The incident reportedly happened just before 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Police say the Doris Johnson Senior High School student was walking on Fox Hill Road with a group of other male students when a man who was riding a bus stabbed him in the upper body. The victim was taken to the hospital by EMS personnel, where he is listed in critical condition. Chief Superintendent Skipping providing an update this morning.
We were able to take a 14-year-old student into custody, and we are going to be questioning him in relation to that incident. What I want to encourage young people to do, especially knowing that conflicts are going to arise. Whenever you are confronted with a conflict, I need you to stop, think about it.
When it comes to shack attacks in the Bahamas, more can be done, says Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper, who also insists there has to be more training for tour operators. Marlena Leonard explains in this report.
This comes after the September 6th fatal shark attack that took the life of tourist Caroline de Placido, a 58-year-old mother of 3. It has prompted renewed discussions about how tour operators manage shark safety practices.
We have engaged the stakeholders in the tour industries to ensure that proper protocols are in place. There are certain basic common sense things that can be done.
Cooper echoed sentiments shared by dive expert Andre Musgrove, who stressed the importance of avoiding recently or frequently chummed waters that sharks may link to feedings.
I think there has to be more training, more ongoing dialogue with tour operators to ensure, for example, we're not feeding at the time that people are swimming.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez promising an announcement is coming soon in relation to that probe involving a PLP cabinet minister. Police were looking into allegations that Transport and Housing Minister JoBeth Colby Davis allegedly struck an officer with her car. Back in June, Prime Minister Philip Davis said police never launched an investigation into the allegations. The PM's comments came after former Police Commissioner Paul Rolls said the matter was under active investigation. At a press conference on Tuesday, Commissioner Fernandez said there has been movements on the matter.
I will be making a statement on that shortly. We got nowhere at this time, but we will make a statement on that shortly.
When Our News comes back from the break, back on the Bay, the Valley Boys talk preparation ahead of the highly anticipated Junkanoo parades.
Plus, Italia coming up in sports for you tonight. University of the Bahamas athletic program in full swing. We'll give you full details on their cross-country team and what's going on with their local soccer. That's all coming up in sports.
Thanks, Marcellus. And later is showtime at the Dundas for Shakespeare in Paradise as a nearly 3-year hiatus comes to an end. The details when Our News returns.
Got wireless dead zones at your house? How about endless buffering? Will you put the Wi-Fi password again? This is Aero. Aero is not just a new Wi-Fi router. Rev customers get the first Wi-Fi system that covers every inch of your beautiful home, improving home coverage, higher speeds, high performance, and connectivity for up to 75 simultaneous devices. Aero. So while you're streaming your favorite show on HBO Max, Aero with Rev gives you the freedom to stay connected while you work, learn, and play at home.
Never think about Wi-Fi again with Aero from Rev. Visit rev.bs/Aero or call 601-8992 to make your Wi-Fi wishes come true.
You're watching our news. Welcome back. If your kids go to a public school, get ready to pick them up a little earlier tomorrow. Public schools nationwide will close at noon to allow teachers to vote in union elections. Ministry of Education sending a notice today saying September staff meetings for teachers will also be canceled. Police Commissioner Paul Roll defending officers' presence at public schools, saying it is sufficient. His comments came after a student was stabbed at Anatole Rogers High School. Fernando says police patrol school areas before and after school.
We have officers not only on the premises, on the grounds, but we have the commanders and their officers who are patrolling the areas. They will stop on a regular to ensure that everything is going well. You will see that patrol before school starts and even after school.
The commissioner says police are paying close attention to hotspot areas known for fights. However, he says officers are now moving into classrooms.
When you look at the school, it's just a bunch of rude little children who continue to disrupt people who want to learn, the young people in school. And again, it starts with the home. But as you can see, our school resource officers are doing an excellent job. And if you have an opportunity to visit the school, you will see our officers in the classroom.
The UB athletic program very busy as of late as they look to really showcase what they have to offer. Marcellus Hall is up now with sports.
All right, thanks, Natalia. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall, University of the Bahamas. They've been doing very good things with their athletic program as of late. This past weekend, very busy with their local soccer team and also their cross-country team seeing some action. Let's bring you up to speed on how they did.
Mingo striker Rolando Green scoring 2 goals over 2 matches on opening day of the Bahamas Football Association season over the weekend. Mingos drew with Bears FC 1-1 in the opening match and then blanked the Baja Juniors Football Club 2-0 in the second match. Green scored early in the first match against the Bears FC, but the Bears responded to equalize the game against Baja Juniors. Green scoring easily on penalty kick to put the Mingos up 1-0. Morgan Wood on a brilliant attack was able to find the back of the net for the Mingos and put them up 2-0. Defense was then able to hold back a few strikes to hold on for the 2-0 score. Mingos assistant coach Alex Thompson said he was happy with the play of the team heading into the season and international play this weekend.
It's good to see the little habits that we've been working on be consistent in the matches. We had a few more freshmen added to the squad, and they performed pretty well. Again, it's a building process, but it was good to see them come in and function well within the system and the team. The midfield stayed connected, our back line was consistent, kept the ball well, and our front three worked hard. And we gave them some specific instructions for the matches today, and they carried it out.
Meanwhile, the UB's men's cross-country team abroad this past weekend, men's cross-country athlete Levain Joseph led the team to a 13th place finish in a strong field of 19 at the Embry-Riddle Cross Country Classic in Daytona Beach. Joseph finished 107th out of a field of 148 runners on the 8K, or about 5-mile course in the packed field with a time of 32 minutes, 7.13 seconds. The Mingos finishing 13th with 449 points out of 19 teams. Kennard Jean took second place for the Mingos in 34-24-39, averaging 6.55 seconds, 6 minutes 5.55 seconds each mile. And that is your look at sports for you here on this Hump Day Wednesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Italia.
Still ahead on our news tonight, the countdown is on to the highly anticipated Junkanoo parades. Find out one group's efforts to reclaim the coveted Junkanoo title. Plus, Greg is back in the Weather Center, still tracking the tropics. And later, why organizers are saying the return of Shakespeare in Paradise will leave you in stitches. It's all coming up when our news returns.
Got wireless dead zones at your house? How about endless buffering? Will you put the Wi-Fi password again? This is Aero. Aero is not just a new Wi-Fi router. Rev customers get the first Wi-Fi system that covers every inch of your beautiful home, improving home coverage, higher speeds, high performance, and connectivity for up to 75 simultaneous devices. Arrow. So while you're streaming your favorite show on HBO Max, Arrow with Rev gives you the freedom to stay connected while you work, learn, and play at home.
Never think about Wi-Fi again with Arrow from Rev. Visit rev.bs/Arrow or call 601-8992 to make your Wi-Fi wishes come true.
Welcome back to our news. Anticipation is mounting for the return of the major Junkanoo parades. Veteran Junkanooer and chairman of the Valley Boys Frontline Dance Association, John Williams, spoke with me about their plans for the upcoming parade and says spectators can expect a unique experience.
We've put a lot of things in the past with regards to our group, and we're working along with the JCNP and the other groups to make Junkanoo better for everyone.
Williams says preparations are going well for both the Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades.
Beautiful costumes, amazing music, camaraderie, the energy. I mean, we've missed it. We've not been on Bay Street for a while. The passion is going to be extreme. Everything is going to be amazing. The vibrant colors, I can't really say what we're doing this yet, but you know, the town is small. There are some persons who may know, but trust me, get your tickets, be prepared. The Valley Boys are going to be on Bay Street.
He says the group has high hopes about walking away with the win.
I mean, this is what we do. You know, we're here to win. And even if we don't win, you know, we want to leave a mark on Bay Street that will be remembered, and so that when we step on it again, we know what we'll have to do.
All eyes are still on Hurricane Fiona as the storm is expected to trek north. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back in the Weather Center monitoring the tropics. Greg?
Thanks again, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for our second look at weather. Of course, we are still tracking Fiona, which is a major storm packing 130-mile-per-hour winds, moving towards the north and away from the Bahamas. Some rain bands still affecting our area, but the tropics getting very busy right now. We still have Gaston, which formed yesterday, and that's out there in the open Atlantic. Then we have this broad area of showers and disorganized thunderstorms that is approaching the Leeward Islands. Should move in the Caribbean, could likely be our next named storm over the next couple of days and by the end of the week. And then we're watching two other areas out there. Tropical wave just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands that has a low chance for formation. We'll stay out there in the open Atlantic, and a strong tropical wave coming off of Africa. That has a medium chance, but that should stay close to the African continent over the next couple of days. Fiona is, as I mentioned, a 130-mile-per-hour wind storm, major storm, moving towards the north. Eventually will turn more towards the north and east, headed towards Bermuda by the end of the week, and then it should be racing off towards the Canadian Maritimes and should pose no problems. Main impacts here will be swells, and they will continue for the remainder of the week, so beaching and boating will become a challenge over that course of time. Once again, the Caribbean will be the next area that we're going to continue to watch for formation of a tropical storm, depression, eventually moving into the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be just to the west of the Bahamas, west of Florida, and west of Cuba, so this one we will continue to watch over the next several days, as it's going to be in our neck of the woods by then. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. An advisory is posted due to the swells. Northwest and north winds at 15 knot seas running 3 to 5 feet, but they will be up to 12 feet in some very large swells. Your low tide will be 11:26 tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, an advisory for you guys down there as well. Southwest to west winds at 15 knots. Seas will be running 3 to 5 feet, but they will be up to 9 feet in some moderate to large swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look at your extended forecast. Off and on showers throughout the remainder of the week. Nice conditions on the weekend, but we expect the front to get near sometime by early next week. So we're looking for an increase in some showers by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe Wednesday evening, everybody.
Thanks, Greg. Now, for the first time since 2019, Shakespeare in Paradise is back at full capacity and ready to welcome audiences this season. Our Melina Leonard caught up with festival director Nicolette Bethel for more on this year's festivities.
Shakespeare in Paradise is back for its 14th festival, and it's the first time audiences will have an opportunity to witness it full scale since the pandemic. Dr. Nicolette Bethel is the festival director and one of the founders of Shakespeare in Paradise. She says she's looking forward to once again having a full-scale festival.
The pandemic almost killed us, We're coming back from the pandemic, so come on out and support. You will have seen that we are constantly bringing in new faces into theater and support it. We don't have regular corporate or government support.
As for what audiences can expect,
we have 3 plays and 1 film. So the 3 plays are Short Tales, which is what's going on right now. We're in the foyer and we're about to start the Short Tales matinee. Short Tales is 9 short plays by local writers. They're written new every year, and we select them and we put together a show.
The second play is this festival's Shakespearean piece, Richard III. Bethel says they've taken more of an experimental approach.
It's an interesting play, so we've done some stuff with it and to it. We don't normally do this with Shakespeare. We try to do Shakespeare. We try to be faithful to the core of the Shakespeare play, but in this particular case, it's like scenes from Richard III with the story explained as well, written by a local Bahamian writer who is featured very, very heavily in Short Tales, Stephen Hanna.
The final play is First Comes Morning.
It's a play with music, and it started life as a short tale in 2019. And they wrote it as a full-length play, and we're premiering it in this festival.
And the short film is Tell Me.
Because it's about the value of therapy in the Black community, because a lot of times people don't believe in therapy, but it's a film that shows how it is valuable.
While ticket sales will not contribute to the renovations needed for the Winston B. Saunders Theatre, Bethel says you can donate to the fund through the Eventbrite page where you get your tickets. Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks, Marlena, and thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.